Hi first graders, I have another story for you. I hope you're working hard. We're almost to the end of the school year. So this story is called Rooster Trouble. Have you ever had rooster trouble before? I think I can honestly say, I don't think I've ever had rooster trouble before, but I think you're gonna love this story because it's kind of silly. And I know you like when people play pranks on people, and it's kind of a prank story. So you're gonna have fun reading this story, okay? But there are a lot of vocabulary words that we need to talk about. So let's get going on the characters of the story. So this is kind of a CVC word. All right, so this is what the first character's name looks like. So if you were to guess, what do you think the name would say? So if we just took this part, it would say Mag. And if we add the and, it says Maggie, okay? So Maggie is the girl in the story. And if the story's called Rooster Trouble, what do you think the other character is going to be? It's going to be the rooster, right? And then there's another character in the story that's a compound word. I think you're gonna be a little bit surprised to see this word in the story. Oops, wrong one. All right. So do you see a little word inside this big word? So you should see man. And then here's another soft C. This says policeman. There's going to be a policeman in this story. So do you think policemen have to deal with roosters very often? That's kind of silly too, isn't it, boys and girls? All right, so here's another vocabulary word. If I showed you just this word, I think you could figure it out very easily. This says nose, doesn't it? If we add a Y to the end, it says nosy. And I'm making a connection in this story, boys and girls. There used to be an elephant at our zoo, and his name was Nosy. So then when I see that word, I always think of our elephant Nosy. All right, and I thought I just saw somebody at my door. So that's kind of funny because this word is door. And then, remember how sometimes we have to add something besides an S? This is box, but if we have more than one box, then it's boxes, right? And we just had this word in a different story. Soft C. So this word is, don't forget the N chunk. This word is fence, right, boys and girls? That should probably be getting out to be an easy word for you. All right, what Legos do you see inside this word? You should see ER says You should see UN says un. So under. And I'm just gonna show you this one real fast. This should be an easy word, but remember how this word very often tricks first graders? Because they forget about the AR says R. So don't forget, that's the pirate one. So if you said care, you got tricked by this word because this word is not care. If we put an E at the end, then it says care. If we take the E off, then it's just plain old car. You have a K and you have an R, and so you say car. All right. Here's another soft C word. So, and I shouldn't have told you that. I think we're gonna come back to this word. I kind of told you the answer too fast. I have something in my mind that I want to share with you. All right, so what do you see inside this word? You should see the magic E, box the O. The O says O, DR says drove, drove. All right, do you remember the word that I showed you earlier? This word is door. And if you know door, then you know floor. So you might have to use the meaning of the story to help you figure out these words, okay? Door and floor are rhyming words, aren't they? All right, so this is a CVC word. All right, so we have consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant. So right now, what does the word say? I hope you're saying shop, but we need to add an ending to the end. So we have to double the final consonant and then add the ing. So shop becomes shopping. And then what do you see inside this word? You should see two vowels. So the E gets to talk. S, eat, seat. All right. All right, now if you were to just look at this word and you didn't know about the soft C, you might think that says ka, right? Ka, it, E, right? The end says E, right? Kitty. But we've had a lot of stories with the word kitty in it. Haven't we, boys and girls? Is this how you remember the word kitty? So do you remember all those kitty, naughty kitty, naughty kitty, naughty kitty? Here's the word kitty. So if you think this word says kitty, this word should be a clue to you that you are reading something wrong. So if you say kitty for this word, you have to say, no, that word's not kitty because this word is kitty. So what else do I know about this word? Oh yeah, the soft C. So now instead of saying kitty, you're going to say s, it, e, city. So the city that we live in is Fresno, right? All right, here is a word that has something in it you should know. You should see the two vowels. Oh, I have an itch, sorry, boys and girls. So, two vowels go walking. The first one is the talking, right? So that should say E. Ha, E, V. Hebe. Is hebe a word? Hebe is not a word. So that's your clue that instead of saying E, it says the other E sound, which is E. Heavy. Heavy. All right. Now, do you know what this one, do you see something that you might have recognized inside this word? A long time ago, we had a story that had this word in it, hook. Well, if we don't say hook and we put an SH in front, now it says shook. Or you might remember this word, took. So if you know took and you know hook, then you know shook, don't you, boys and girls? They all have the ook chunk. And that makes them all rhyming words too, doesn't it? All right, what do you see inside this word? You should see OW. And OW says ow, doesn't it? But does it say ow in this word, boys and girls? Did you learn something about OW being at the end of the word? If it's at the end of the word, it does not say it does not say ow. It says O. And then you should see the N chunk. Window. Window. I don't have you in front of me to catch my mistakes. So I hope I'm making sense, boys and girls, because when I'm not, you like to check on me, don't you? And I need that. All right, what do you see inside this word? You should see two vowels again. So the E gets to talk, and he says E. People. People. And you should see two vowels again. EA usually says E, doesn't it? But just like heavy, if we say E, this says heed. Heed. Does that sound like a word you know? So that's your clue. You did something wrong. If it doesn't make sense or sound the way we talk, you're probably not reading it right. So if the E does not work, try the other E sound, which is ed, head. All right, and then another CBC word, consonant, vowel, consonant. This word says stop. I'm pretty sure you can remember that from our stop sign. But if we want to add an ending to the end, we have to double the final consonant and then add the ending. Stopped. Remember? ED can say duh, tuh, or ed. Well, if we already did it, we stopped. And when we talk, it actually makes the tuh sound, doesn't it? Stopped. All right, so what do you think this word is? Magic E bonks the A. A says A. SC says sk, sk, air, scare. But if we already did it, we add the ED to the end, right? So we have to take off the magic E, but it still works. That still makes the A say A. And then we add ED. ED is the chunk that we add. So instead of saying scare, we say scared. And in this one, the ED makes the duh sound, scared. We actually don't have very many words where that happens, do we, boys and girls? All right, here's a silly word, which might build your curiosity for the story. So this actually has a 3-letter blend. We don't have this very often. SCR says skrrr, and then you should see the CH says ch, that's the hard one. And you should see EE says E. So this word is 3 Legos long, isn't it? Skrrr, each, screech, screech. Yep, something's gonna screech in this story. All right, I guess you'll have to find out what a screech is. It's kind of like a scream, isn't it? All right, and then we had this word a long, long, long time ago. Do you remember the lazy pig? And everything was so new to you then. Well, in the lazy pig, the rooster, which is like in this story, said something special, didn't he? He said, cock-a-doodle doo. And when you were first learning how to read, I didn't want you just to say cock-a-doodle doo and not look at the words. So we did 4 touches, remember? Cock-a-doodle doo. So make sure when you see this in the story, and it's more than once, practice touching each part. Cock-a-doodle doo. Don't just go cock-a-doodle, cock-a-doodle. Make your eyes look at all the letters, because that's what good readers do. All right, now we have, there's another word that tricks first graders a lot. All right, what do you see? You should see CH, which makes the ch sound. If the first graders looked at all the sounds, then this would not trick the first graders. AI is 2 vowels, so that says A, and R at the end is So this is ch, air, chair. And if you take this part off, it actually says air. And I think that might be in one of our, maybe the story I'm gonna do with you next has the word air in it, okay? So sometimes the picture looks like a couch. So sometimes the children just look at the picture and say couch, but this word cannot say couch, can it, boys and girls? So if you see the CH at the beginning, make sure you're saying ch, air, chair. And then we had this word in our last story, which was a tricky word in that story, and it's a tricky word in this story. It probably is a sight word somewhere. So if I do this, what does it say? It says eyes. And then there's 2 contractions inside this word. So here's the word there. That's a sight word you should know. If we do apostrophe S, then it's theirs. Like, you could say there's something tricky in the story, or I could say there is something tricky in the story. So theirs comes from there and is, theirs. All right, and then we have this sight word, he, apostrophe S, he's. So you could say he is in this story, or you could say he's in this story, all right? Now, this is another story you can practice using your storytelling voice in. There's a lot of bold print words, and there's a lot of exclamation points, okay? So while you're reading, if you see a bold print word, a word that looks darker than the others, or you see exclamation marks, Make sure you read that part with excitement. Now, you don't have to shout it. I guess if you're at home and it's okay with everyone, you can shout it. But you can show excitement without shouting it. So make sure you're looking for the bold print and the exclamation mark so you can practice your good storytelling voice and make this book sound like a movie in your brain. Because if you make the book sound like a movie in your brain, you're going to listen to the story better, and then you're going to remember the story better, and then when you get to the end of the story, you can do your retell better. So make sure you sound like you're reading a movie, that you're a movie in your brain, okay? All right, cameraman, we're going to do some sight words. Again, I wrote on both sides. Let's see, maybe I didn't. Nope, I think I just used old cards for this. So we're going to just do the front, okay? All right, so here we go. Here's your sight word. This is your test. I hope you can say them without any help. If you can't, then we need to practice, and you can watch this part more than once. Okay, how'd you do? Did you get stuck on any? If you did, just write them down, and then you know those are the ones you need to practice. There's no use in practicing all of them if you know some of them. So if there's some that you get stuck on, just take a little note and say, I'm gonna learn this word this week. I have to look at it and be able to say it fast. All right, so try to beat me. Here's our race. Here we go. How opened she into now for can't went put saw. We had that twice last time, didn't we? Oops. Looked from open. All right, did you do good, boys and girls? That's the end of video number 1. Don't forget to watch for video number 2 so you can practice reading the end. Oh, maybe I shouldn't show you that part. That's the silly part. All right. If you come back to video number 2, you can read the inside. See you soon. Bye-bye.